just as the sun was sinking down on the mystic dusk of Bloomsday, the 16th of June, Anno Domini 1904, the three girlfriends were seated together on the strand, enjoying the evening scene and the air that was fresh but not too chilly. Many a time and oft were they wont to come there to that favourite nook to have a cosy chat beside the sparkling waves and discuss matters feminine. Sissy Caffrey, Edie Borgman with baby Borgman in the pushcar, and little Tommy and Jackie Caffrey, two dear little curly-headed twin boys, scarce 4 years old, dressed in sailor suits with caps to match and the name HMS Belle-Isle printed out on both. And Edie Borgman was rocking the baby Borgman to and fro in the pushcar, while that little fella fairly chuckled with delight. And Sissy Caffrey bent over the baby to tease his fat little plucks and the dainty dimple on his chin. "Now, baby," said Sissy, "say it out big, big. I want a drink of water." And the baby prattled along merrily after her, "I don't think a daughter." The third girl, Gerty MacDowell, seated near her companions, lost in thought, wished to goodness they'd take that squalling common brat of a baby away home out of that and not be getting on her nerves. She gazed out towards the distant sea, just like one of those paintings the man used to do on the pavement with all the lovely coloured chalks. And as she gazed, her heart went pitter-pat, 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 because, yes, it was at her the strange gentleman was looking. Seated over there on the rock he was, gazing at her intently. His dark eyes burned into hers. Burned into hers. "Refuge of sinners, comforter of the afflicted, ora pro nobis," came from the church nearby, and the stained glass windows lighted up the candles, the flowers, the blue banners of the Blessed Virgin's sodality. And Gerty put on her hat, the way she could see the strange gentleman from underneath the brim, and she swung her buckle shoe to and fro, faster, faster, and her breath caught as she caught the expression in the strange gentleman's eyes. He was eyeing her now as a snake eyes its prey, and in the church they sang the second verse of the Tantum Ergo, and Canon O'Hanlon whispered to Father Conroy that one of the candles was about to set the flowers on fire. "Oh, look, Sissy!" It was little Jackie Caffrey, and they all looked up at the sky over the church. Was it sheet lightning there over the trees beside the church? It was blue, and then green, and then purple. "It's fireworks, fireworks," Sissy Caffrey said. "Come on, Gerty, it's the bazaar fireworks." And they all ran helter-skelter down the darkening strand. But Gerty had no intention of being at their beck and call. If they could run like Rossi, she could sit, so she could. So she told them she could see perfectly well from where she was, because the look in that man's eyes was making her pulses race. He was still gazing at her. It was darker now, but she could see that he was looking, and he was winding his watch, and he put his watch back, and he put his hand back in his pocket, and his face and hands were trembling, and a tremor ran all over her too. And she had to lean back more to look up at where the fireworks were, and she caught her knee in her hand, not to fall back looking up. But there was no one to see her. No one. Only him. And then Jackie Caffrey shouted, "Look, Sissy, look, there's another. Look, look, there it goes." And something queer went flying through the air, a soft thing to and fro dark. And Gerty saw a tall Roman candle going up over the trees, up, up, and in the tense hush, higher, higher, and she had to lean back more to look up after it, high, high, almost out of sight, and she knew he could see her, and she knew, and she didn't care, and then a rocket sprang, bang, shot blind, and oh, the Roman candle burst, and it was a sigh of oh, and everyone went oh in raptures and it gushed out of it. A stream of rain-gold hair threads, and they shed and fell, and now it was all dewy, changing, greeny stars. Falling, falling, with lovely dewy, soft and sweet, soft, sweet, soft, sweet. And they all melted away dewily in the grey area, and everything was silent. And she looked at him for the last time. Leopold Bloom, for it is he, stands there with bowed head before those young and guileless eyes. Oh, what a beast he'd been, what a fool! At it again, at it again, at it again. Very slowly, without looking back, Gertie walked down the uneven strand to Sissy, to Edie, to Jackie and Tommy Caffrey, back to little baby Borgman. It was darker now, and there were stones and bits of wood on the sand and slippery seaweed. And Gertie walked with a certain quiet little dignity characteristic of her. Very slowly and with great care, because Gerty MacDowell was tight boots? No, she's lame. Mr. Bloom watched her as she limped away.